Paul Katroff with 423byland.com. Well, good morning to everybody. It's a terrific morning, and we're on lot number 211, and we've spent about 3 to 4 days just clearing out the first third of the lot. We've been pulling the brush back. It's all about getting to that fire. Once you get to the fire, then you really start making big changes to a property. So, I had the fire prepared last night. We meant to be here early, 5:30 a.m., 6. We didn't. We were here around 6:30, but we were ready to go. So right now it's 7:14, and just want to let everybody out there know that we're excited. We want to get this lot done within the next week. So just to give you guys an idea, today's the first day. We start the burning. It's a lot of motivation. And there's my friendly elf. Favorite elf. Love that elf. Greatest elf in the world. And you can see we've got this. This has been here for about a week now. It's a big pile of debris. And then there's another pile of debris here that's not from us, but we may go through that. But as you can see, at 7:15, and you got to get these fires going quickly and early. I've raked it out, done as well as I can to get around the edge right here and get it down to black. Now you see a few little leaves here, but I will constantly be raking this throughout the day because I don't want anything to catch. I do wide circles, as you can tell, and of course I'm more interested in the outside ring than I am anything else. So I have it pretty well raked out. But wow, it's just this heat first thing in the morning just really it's really amazing. So it's going to be like this all the way solid for the next 4 hours. And once we get that done, we're going to do some of that. And when that front is done, then we're going to the back of this lot. See, right about there, if you can see, is the lot marker. Let me see if you can tell. Okay, there's an orange stake right there. Hey guys, you know, everybody asks, you know, how we burn our lots, and everybody has their own way of doing things. I guess what makes us a little different is that we're burning all our lots consistently. So as you burn one lot, you burn another, you know, after clearing, you know, last 8 or 9 lots with fire, you kind of fine tune your operation and you start to, I would say, become a little skilled at it. You know, there's a difference between just making a burn pile every now and then and burning your own wood in your backyard, and then trying to actually get production and clear a lot and go to the next one, start another fire, go to the next one, start another fire. So you do things a little differently. What we've learned is that you've got to be efficient. You got to stay within the limitation of the fire. So when we first started out, we do these massive fires, and we would it would be huge bonfire, but it doesn't work that way. We've learned a couple of rules, and we only stack a fire for 2 hours. That's it. So we started at 7:30 in the morning, and we set a goal of what we could do by 9 a.m. 9 a.m. once you quit stocking that fire means you'll be out by 12 or 1, because you're going to spend 3 to 4 hours babysitting it. So between 7:30 and 9:30 a.m., you are really packing it with selective branches and everything, and just keeping that heat really hot. The key is a really hot fire for a short amount of time. That's the key. So in order to do that, we don't throw logs on. We're real careful. Anyway, it is around 9:15, and I'll show you where we're at. Looking good. All that brush on the front is gone now. As you can see, when you get rid of that brush, the lot starts to take shape. And this is what our fire looks like at 9:30 in the morning. This is a real huge fire, but the name of the game is go really, really, really hot. Really, really, really quickly. And of course you do that by throwing on mainly your brush really fast, where most people will make a mistake. They'll get the fire going. Then they'll take logs like this and they'll throw it on. Don't throw the logs on. Don't. It's inefficient. It really is inefficient. So you can see we stack logs up over here next to the lot line. Really nice. Everybody wants logs. So if you look at our fire, and of course I'm constantly raking out, you know, the fire pit around the outside. If you look at our fire, we've got, it's 9:15 in the morning, so we've got plenty of time. This almost looks like it's smoldering, going out. One of the biggest mistakes that people make in trying to do fires, and we used to make the same mistake, guys, we used to do it all the time, is they don't let the fire smolder. What they'll do is they'll take, you know, these are our water buckets. These water buckets are not to put the fire out. It's to put a wet ring around the outside as a safety measure. We've had a few embers jump to the side and we saw smoke coming up, so we're able to grab the water and just babysit it. But you want to leave that without any water overnight, because this is gonna, but you want to get it to a point where it's smoldering. You know, so we're gonna spend the next 3 to 4 hours raking this in, grabbing the rake, raking it back out every 30 minutes, and flattening this so that it burns, and then raking it back and then pulling it out. We're constantly pulling it in and out so that before we leave around noon, when it's really at its hottest, it's gonna be real compact, a real small amount of white ash, but very hot. And I can actually leave that for 2 days and I can still come back and just grab a twig from over there and just throw it on. Boom, it goes up right away. So you're keeping a fire going. The biggest mistake people make is they grab the water at the end of the day, usually 2 in the afternoon, because they just keep stacking it, stacking it, stacking it, and they go throw water on to put out the fire. And then when they come back the next day, they have half-charred logs. Of course, we don't have half-charred logs. We separate the big ones and we stack them. That just makes so much easier to maintain a fire. But so we've really efficiently done that big mess, that big debris. So we're gonna let that burn out. And because that's green, time is 9:17. If I was to start cutting and stacking, I'm gonna spend 3 to 4 hours getting this thing down in the hottest part of the day. Between 12 and 3 is the hottest part of the day. So yeah, in theory, I could just keep stacking and stacking. But you know, you're at your most efficient in the morning when you run it really, really hot for a short amount of time, and of course when you're selective. So I'm going to probably show a little video in about a couple of 3 hours of what my pit is going to look like. It's going to be nice, neat, and clean. I work very methodically. I've raked the front. I'm real careful about the outside of that fire, and it doesn't look like we're getting a lot done, but it's efficient. And patience. Easier is better than quicker any day of the week. So if I were to just burn, let's just say, for 90 minutes every morning for, let's just say, 4 mornings, 3 mornings, this whole lot is done. So an hour and a half by 3 days is what? 3 or 4 hours of actual burning. Now you wouldn't look at it like that because you know your time is spent here babysitting the fire, but you're only doing 3 to 4 hours of actual burning because the fires are so intensely hot. So I thought that was kind of something that we've kind of figured out. The whole just stack it till 12 o'clock doesn't work method. It just becomes a mess. Hi, Paul Catcheroff here. I'm on lot 211. And you know, today I've gone over, you know, how we doing our barn piles and how we're burning our lots. And I'd like to just let everybody out there know, if we have a lot that's uncleared, you can burn it too. And I'm hoping this video will give you confidence that it's really not that big a deal. You can finish any lot in 4, 5, maybe 6 days. And so what we do, and we try to keep the process very simple. We're gonna do about 1/3 of the lot, cut it down with a chainsaw, pull everything to the easement. When we're confident that we have a space for a fire, and what that means is, you know, we cut off any branches around the surrounding trees, we look up, we make sure that the branches are far enough away at the high part of the trees that they won't burn. So we make sure our burn pile's around 20 feet. The name of the game is the quicker you get to the burn pile, the quicker you get that lot done. So we do a real large section, about 1/3 of a lot, and we pull it out, we create our fire, we pull it back and we use some basic tools to maintain the fire. Pretty simple. Cut it, pull it out, build your fire, start feeding it. We burn between 7 and 9, 6:30 and 9 in the morning. We cut it at 9. We don't put big logs. We stack them to the side. We have fires that are constantly burning down. Think about that. They're constantly burning down. Whereas a lot of people, they stack a fire and they sit around because they can't get it to burn out, and they sit around all day. We create fires that are constantly burning out. So we have to constantly keep them stoked, but they're extremely hot. Well, I want to go over some basic things that we do as far as tools. You know, you can do it with a few shovels and a few rakes. Maintaining the fire is really important. So let me show you this. So, you know, here's our fire. And we bring 2 or 3 buckets of water. If you do your fire properly, you're not going to put the water on the fire. You always want that fire smoldering overnight, all right? It's just to put a ring around and just for emergency in case an ash jumps. If you have to dump water onto a fire, it's going to take you forever to clear a lot. So if you notice, it's 9:46 and this fire looks like it's burning out. Well, that's phenomenal. So now we're constantly maintaining a fire that's constantly burning itself out. We're not going to get stuck, you know, especially if you come up from Houston or something like that. Now, these are the tools that we use. You know, this is for basically the leaves on top. This right here gets real deep down here. So what we do is we take that big rake, we rake the initial circle. We go back with the thinner metal rake, and we constantly rake several times around this ring, getting it down to as black a dirt as we can get down to. Then this rake is really important as well. So if you do your own lot, this metal rake, you see, this metal rake, which is a third rake, is really important because in order to get the fire, in order to maintain a fire, you're going to constantly rake it and pull it out and then push it back. Pull it out, push it back. That's how you speed up the process. Okay? And what we do basically is, if you notice, we go in here. When you pull this back, notice the black coals and they start to ignite right away. So we're going to pull this out. We do this periodically every 30 minutes, okay, guys? So it's like a slinky effect. Wow, it's hot. It is so hot, it's unbelievable. Okay, so I'm constantly going to pull this out, all right, with this rake. And finally, once you pull it out, you take a shovel, take the larger logs, and flip them up and put them in those coals, okay? That's what the shovel's for. All right, so these are my basic tools. 3 different types of rakes and a shovel. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So we've got a fire, once again, that keeps burning itself out, and that is fantastic. And it's so hot I can barely get near it. And in about 20 minutes, I'm going to go push those coals back, grab the shovel, put the wood on, keep consolidating the fire. It's smaller, smaller, smaller. So that's how we're babysitting our fire. We don't just sit around and do nothing. So anyway, a little bit of advice. Good luck on everything you do. Paul, catch you off.